All right, let's pick up where we left off. Last time we integrated Tailwind with Daisy UI, and that gives you the ability to build themed components with Daisy and Tailwind. But what happens if you don't want to build your own components? In most situations, you're going to be using an existing design system or component library. And today we're going to look at PrimeNG. So I haven't used PrimeNG very much, maybe just as a demo for a hiring exercise, but let's play with it again today. So we're grabbing the install command. It's going to install PrimeNG and PrimeNG theme. It looks like it's also using Tailwind, so let's give it a go. So we're pasting the install command, running install, and it makes just the changes that are required. And it looks like version 19 was just published today, so just in time. So let's keep going. What is the next step? There are some providers that are required for this component library. Let's just go through them one by one. So it's asking us to do animation async and PrimeNG and providing a theme of Aura. All right, so we're just going to copy these items. And I think this is the first time we're looking at the app config, but if you're coming from an older Angular version, this is basically the app module setup where you're providing all the providers. So let's come back to our app config. Close everything else for now. App config. Zone change detection event coalescing. Okay. We're going to ignore those. Oh, we don't need another provider. Get rid of those. And then we're going to import the missing things from. This is the one that doesn't like to autocomplete, so we're just going to copy it from the site. Provide animation async and provide PrimeNG. Actually, let's see if we can get TypeScript to understand what we're trying to do. There is a restart TS server command, so Control-Shift-P and look for restart. And we're looking for the Angular ones. So let's try with TypeScript server first. Looks like it cleared the error, but now let's see if we can. It doesn't understand still. Dang. Angular language server. Doesn't understand that either. Well, you can always resort to copy and paste. All right. So now that this is provided, let's see what else we need to do. Can import a button module. Do we want the whole module? All right, whatever. Let's grab this button module and I wonder if there's another component. Now we have links. Miscellaneous utilities filter service. timeline, slider text area, list box, input. Wow, am I just blind? Cascade select. There is quite a few components here. It's very thorough. So let's maybe go through the list a little more thoroughly. Upload. I really don't see it. Let's see. Okay, so it's actually just a subset of button. It's a it's a property. All right. Well, let's grab this and throw it on our HTML. We want to import the button module. Let's go back to our TS, throw that there, and put it in the imports array. Let's stop complaining. I'm gonna update this to home and this to calendar. But how do I make it so that it actually works as a router link? So I just throw that there. Let's see. We have liftoff. Oh, of course, that's not going to work with our Daisy theme. So now we'll have to work with PrimeNG's Aura theme. So let's continue. That's just a button. What else can we import from PrimeNG? I want to double check, actually, just real quickly. Lighthouse, analyze. I don't expect to find anything, but you never know. Accessibility, 91. Select elements do not have the associated label. Oh, that's on me. But yeah, looks like the links are working as expected. We have a p tag. It is a button. It's all right. It does what it needs to do. All right. So let's keep going. What other components are there? It's an entire list, right? So let's see if there's a more complicated component we can pick. There is this DatePicker. We are looking to build a calendar scheduler type thing, so maybe we can play with this guy. Okay, so we're gonna grab the DatePicker component. You never want to build a DatePicker by yourself. It's very convoluted and involved, and it's been done a million times. So unless you want to do it as an academic exercise, I would not recommend it. Cool. Actually, yeah, let me take a look at these other tabs. Design tokens. Oh, and you can restyle everything from CSS variables. maybe not recommended because there seems to be some performance implications of redefining variables. So let's avoid that. But there are a bunch of inputs that you can provide this. Style class, input ID of real labels for everything. Even an icon. So it's very, very configurable, and one of the reasons why you probably don't want to build this yourself. So let's drop it in somewhere. Since we have a calendar component, which isn't doing much right now, let's drop it here. DatePicker. And the selector for this. And the example they give here is using two-way binding, so just drop that. If we're using two-way binding, we need forms module. Save. Should be good. We do not have a date to provide it. Well, let's create a date signal. Due date. Okay. And if I go to our lazy loaded route, it was already there, but you can see that it has. I wonder what that is. I also saw this in their demo. What is that? And why is that there? So you open it and it just appears here. What is that? It's not something that I did. It's in their own demo. Star pin the input. Okay. That's bizarre. I can't say I like that. Maybe I just don't know what it's doing right now. Yeah, we're gonna have to look into what that is. Two-way binding, reactive forms, form control name, yada yada yada. And then you can get your dates formatted. The default format is MMDDYY, which can be customized using the date format property. Following formats can be a part of the format. Single D with no leading zeros, double D for 2 digits, day of the month, so on and so forth. There is literal text, single quote, anything else. Unix timestamp, Windows ticks. These are not something I've seen used. Nanoseconds, I guess. Cool. Let's see if we can build something real quick with the DatePicker. So if I want to create a form, suppose we could just stick with two-way binding. Let's do that. I want to grab another component. an input group. Input text. So, I'm gonna grab the input text, dump it in our imports. And this already comes with the proper labeling, I assume. Does it? No, it doesn't. The input. Okay. If the label, float label. Oh, interesting. What is if the label? If the label is used to create in-field top-aligned labels. So you put it wrapping your input and the label right below it like so. And then there's also float label, which does a little animation out of the field when you click in. That's really neat. Depending on your use case, I guess. So there's two options you can use. Variants. The variant property defines the position of the label. Default is over, whereas in and on are alternatives. In and on. Oh, wow. Okay, that's fancy. Very nice. So there's the three variants of floating labels. So what I'm demonstrating here is being able to look at the documentation, and for most situations, at least in component libraries, they will give you these very nice demos. And don't be afraid to play around with it and look into the APIs. So for this floating label, it looks like there's only this one input for variant, which means it should be pretty easy to use. Okay, so we're gonna grab this guy, throw it into our imports. And I don't need to create a new variable. We just need to use the floating label template. I'll update this to task again. All right, so let's see how that looks. Oh, update that. All right, they're jammed up against each other, but you can see it's working. It's floating out like I want it to. Okay, let's look at playing with a variant. I think I kind of like on. And, oh, what is, oh, whoops. This is the wrong element to put it on. It should be on the label, not on the input. So put it where this belongs. And I believe, I guess not. Is that from, okay. At least the error lint. What's that? Error lens? Error lens. I'm pretty sure it's error lens. Yeah. So error lens is one of those extensions that you should get for VS Code. It inlines the error message, and you don't actually have to hover over your error message. It just appears next to the line where you have the error, so it tells you what it is right away without having to do anything. I'm gonna put that to on because I wanna test out that, which makes it look quite nice. Yeah, we're gonna have to get rid of the Daisy theme switcher, at least for this, or Aura, to work properly. Let's stick with dark because that looks at least passing. And we can then create a button to submit our task. So I guess we'll just console log it for now, but imagine if this were an API call that you submit to a service. And I guess we can talk about services in a little bit. We want a button, but that button needs to be from PrimeNG too, right? So let's do button module. Should be smart enough now. Button module. No. Save me. Button module. Okay, so it is smart enough. It just doesn't. It's just being lazy, you know. We have a button. We're gonna add a P button. Type equals. How we had it in the other. Let's see our app component. It had a label. It had. We can skip the link equals true because we want a button. So we just need to provide label, and I wonder if it gives this. We need type? Guess not. Can I have ID? And does it actually give me? Or do I have to do something like this to... Hold on. Let's see what it does by default after providing an ID. It just appends ID. Okay. It does not put the ID on the button element itself. It puts it on the host element. So that could be concerning if you're doing E2E testing. Just something to be aware of. All right. Okay. Let's also see that it is working with our onClick. S to the right. All right. So everything is hooked up, and we just need a backend to submit it to. All right. We may want to have a list. We want to have a list. So let's say we have a task list. And I want it to just be a list like that. Event.ts. And we're gonna call this export type interface calendar event. We have title, sure. Start and end. That's a good idea. Done. Boolean. Is there anything else we want to add to this? We could have a start and a due date. Okay. If you're new to TypeScript, we can explicitly type variables. And in this case, we're typing this signal to calendar event. Okay. So this array now needs to be of a calendar event. But let's go back in here. I'm gonna make some of these variables optional. Okay, so the dates can be optional. This can be a little more flexible if you're not sure when to start the task. So we can make a created task, created date, right? That way you can see at least when you created it and when you want to start and when it's due. All right, so let's do this. So instead of console logging, we're going to this dot tasks dot set. Title created, new date, due is that date if we have a date. So if the user, actually that's already defaulted to today's date. Created and due today. I mean, could be okay. It's sort of smart. I mean, if you're looking to just create a task and not have to think about an end date, this is perfect, right? But of course, it could just be omitted. So let's do this for now, but I do want to update this to start. And I'm going to create another one called end date. Do I want something like this? Because we would need to check. There needs to be some validation, right? If the end date is in the past, we probably don't want that date. If the start date is in the past, we probably don't want that either, unless you're trying to create some historical record. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. You know what? Let's leave it like this. Because if that's what they want to do, that's what they're going to do. All right, so if you are just getting started with JavaScript, this may look a little foreign. So this ... this ellipsis syntax is saying we're going to update the task list, but first we're going to use all of the existing tasks, and then we're going to add a new task here. So if you already have 3-4 tasks, those 3-4 tasks are going to be duplicated into this new array, right? So we're creating a new array and adding a new task each time the user clicks submit. Oh, I don't need you to refactor. We do want to update our bindings. Start and end. All right, so let's see if the labeling system can accept the DatePicker. Oh, something to play with. And we're going to copy this label. We're going to change it. I'll start. I wonder if that's good enough. Okay, so amaze me. Let's see what happens. Yo, it works. And if I clear it, nice. Okay, I think that's what it's doing. The label element is the input element for the text below is stretching. I still don't like it, but it is what it is. Okay. So now that we've added our 3 inputs and our submit, we can render out a list. But I don't want to just use any old list. Let's see what PrimeNG has to offer. List box. We want to drop in a list box. Text area data. Ordered list. This is sure. Org list, org chart, pick list. Whoa, fancy. Pick list is used as a controlled input with source and target property. Source and target. Content of a list item needs to be defined with a p template. Okay. Property that receives an object in the list as parameter. Drag and drop. Don't think we're going to use this. Actually, we could, right? We could make this a pick list. If you click this and move it to done, right? This is to-do list and a done list. Okay, well, let's start small. I mean, let's not get crazy here. Data view. Virtual scroller. Okay. So this is one of those Angular things. I've seen these virtual scrollers in other frameworks, and basically these elements are created and destroyed dynamically. So once it scrolls out of view, it actually gets removed from the DOM. So, okay, so let's see if it makes a fool out of me. Let's see how far it goes up. You can see that it goes up to 249, but we know there's more above it, right? So that's how this is working. It only shows you a limited number of items in the list because we're really not interested in all the other ones that could potentially be in the list. And you can see that it's updating dynamically. So it's performance, right? If you're not rendering all those thousands of items, you're saving yourself the render time and any layout shifts and whatnot. And this is in a scrolling container, so it's not going to cause any layout shifts, which are the most expensive DOM manipulations that you can do. That took a lot of words. Looks like you can do it oriented sideways. I wonder if it can render it upside down. I had Microsoft Excel do that to me on a Mac, and that's not something I wanted it to do, but it did it anyway. Nice little bug, I guess. So let's try using this scroller. All right, same thing again. We're going to import the scroller element. Scroller. And we're going to add the template. Item size. And then you can specify the template that you want to use. And that means all of these individual items are customizable. So that's very nice. Oh man, I need to use this in my other projects. So I can bind it to the list, give it an item size of, let's say 10, scroll height, style class, style, width and height. We can always update these. I'm just gonna sort out what I wanted to do first. We'll let option.odd. Okay, so I think that's part of. Is it part of? And each of the items maybe each option. Oh, okay. So the item, of course, is our task. And if I say task.title, what is it smart enough to do? Just knows title. Well, let's see what it renders. Hello? Okay, cool. So it is working. But BG surface, oh, it's using Tailwind classes to style this. Hmm. I don't think it understands dark. Nine, 800. So if it's odd, how do I give it this? Oh, okay. It is working. It just wasn't giving it a class that it was understanding. Okay. Cool. So what else can we do? Well, we can render more of the task, right? I'm going to update this around, and let's not just have task title here. We want to say if it's done or not. Created.toString. Let's create a div for this. Put that there. Put a div for start and end. Start. Task.start. And I don't think we want to output just a local string. I think we want to use a date pipe. And I think this is where you might want to look at how you format it. Actually, it's up to you, right? Like, let's do something like this. Day, month, DD, MM, YY. Let's have it 4. And we'll just copy and paste this for the end date. What happened? Oh. Two. So now it should give us that, but I'm also going to put a checkbox right next to our title. Oh, it knew to do that. Now, this may get a little complicated, but I suppose if you're going to save each of these tasks by ID, it's not too much of an issue. Oh, it doesn't understand the P template. Let's see if this works actually. Let me. Oh, okay. What's it doing? It is the 18th of December 2024. What the heck is it doing? Oh boy. Also, So that should go onto a new line, right? Flex. Oh, because it's doing a flex here. All right. I still don't know what this is doing. What is M? Oh, I guess it's the minute. That's why. Hello. What is the month? Oh, okay. Now it just doesn't understand. Okay. It does understand. I'm just noobing it up. Hello. There we go. Now it understands. But of course, that's we don't use colons in between the date, month, and year. So let's fix that. North American date times. Okay, so we're gonna do that. I believe you add a 3 and just a single D should give us fully fleshed out dates. Or actually no. Okay. That's working how I wanted to, but let's keep going. I wanted to get this P checkbox. So I don't even need to look into the documentation. This is probably going to be a checkbox module. I wonder if I can just import the checkbox itself. And if that'll just work, because I don't think I need the whole module. So let's take a look at if that looks correct. It's not checking. Okay, so maybe it does need. Maybe it does need the whole module. Checkbox module. Let's see if that is my my mistake. All right. No, it's not. Okay, so what's going on? Why does checkbox not check? How do you call yourself a checkbox if you don't check? Let's close this and look for checkbox. Yeah, checkbox binary true. Why? Checkbox can be used with reactive forms. In this case, form control name, yada yada yada, P checkbox value input ID. When indeterminate is present, the checkbox mask the actual value visually. Okay, so maybe I have to add binary true. Okay. I guess. And it does animate in and out, so that's kind of nice. Let's just double check if the entire module is required. Just to test our theories. No, it's not, right? So Could have been done. Okay. So now we have a bunch of, oh boy, what the heck happened? I think that's from the height of our individual templates. Yeah, so this guy here might need to be expanded a little. So if this thing is 150, you might want to look at updating this to a multiple of 150. So let's do 600, and it's going to be quite tall. It's going to be quite. Hello? Scroll height. Oh, okay. Style. What is this then? Oof. Okay. Maybe 150 is a little too much. How much is our 3 elements together? What's one div? One div is 24 pixels high, so that was 2 lines is 48, and that's why 3 lines is a no-go. Are we thinking of adding any more? Or we can just set it to 75. Oh, 25. And we can tone that down to 300. What is this number then? What is the 200 height here for? This container itself is the 300, which is the scroll height. But what is this number? $75 is just barely enough, which I don't think looks great. I wonder if you can get away with just not providing a height. Oh, wait, no, I think this is required because we're in a virtual scroll. Yes, so to for the virtual scroll to know where each element starts and ends and actually create the scroll container, it needs a fixed height for each of these elements. So I don't think we can remove this height element. Height attribute. So we're just going to have to adjust the height value to something that looks somewhat good, and then we can look at changing the values of our wrapper class so that it doesn't look so ugly. Well, let's move it to 90. And it had its flex call justify between. Let's see what that does. Okay. That doesn't look too bad. Inspect it. It has a P2, which is padding 0.5 rem. And then we have a justify between of these 3 elements inside. I wonder if you can see the computed. Yeah. Okay, so we have 8 pixels around the border and It looks somewhat okay. And then we can check off the things. Cool. Anyway, we'll talk about APIs another time, but let's end it here today. We can clean it up. We can make it look a little nicer. Probably center the actual form or lay it out horizontally since we have so much space. And maybe we can look at this. What was that? Other component. The pick list. Yes, let's take a look at the pick list for next time. All right, peace.